So it's been 12 years since my last driving lesson and driving exam, but I am back in a learner car with a slight difference because this one's electric. And I've got Nick here who's gonna take me for a lesson, so to speak. And Nick is using this car to teach students and obviously then sit for their exam. And I found that very interesting because I think there's a lot to learn there from the business perspective, but also from where the future is headed. So if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like if you're enjoying the content. But as always, welcome to another episode of The Future is Electric. So Nick, how's my driving firstly?
Very, very good. You're confident. I'm not sure if it's your first time driving the i3, but you can handle the car very easily.
Okay, well, it's my first time actually driving the i3. I drove the Mini, which has essentially the same electric motor and battery to my knowledge. But no, it's the first time in the i3.
The Mini has the modes of regeneration braking. On this car there's only one mode of regeneration braking.
So there's a difference. Interesting. So how long have you been sort of teaching with this electric car?
With this car I've been 1.5 years now, but I used to do the driving lessons and the service. I have been more than 6 years ago.
All right.
Before I used to help clients to get the license on the minivans, so I used to do the commercial.
All right.
And then I did. Before this car, I had the Volvo, and I used to take up clients for the exam in the Volvo. But it was a bit too big because my idea of a car was for driving a nice big SUV, you know. But for the driving exam, the car needs to be small, so it's very easy to maneuver, very easy to park. Especially this car has a very good turning circle,
yes.
So we can turn in a very small, tight spaces.
Which is, I think it's an ideal size for Malta. Actually, I mean, very small roads, very small country. Right?
Exactly. When I was looking to buy a car, I definitely wanted the car to be electric, but the reason why I bought this car is because it doesn't have an engine, so the bonnet is quite small, so it's really easy to see the front,
which is very important for someone who's learning, I guess.
Exactly. And the angle which we can see is a very big wide angle, so the people who are learning it's quite easy for them. And another reason is because the headroom is quite good for people tall like us. It's much better because most of the schools which drive on the motoring schools, the cars are quite small.
Right,
compared to
That's true. In fact, it's very spacious in here, eh? And so those are the only reasons you decided to go electric?
First reason is because we have been vegan for more than 7 years. My family. So
right.
We are very aware of our carbon footprint. So when I wanted to choose a car, I definitely wanted to go for electric. And I'm seeing a lot of driving instructors as well having electric cars. For now, I think it's a little bit early because the battery size is a little bit small. I think in 2025, when the battery capacity will become bigger, like the technology will become better, I think it will make more sense. I mean, for me, with this car, I can drive around 16 hours, which is about 250 kilometers. Which is equivalent to about eight driving lessons, because my driving lessons I drive for about 2 hours each lesson, because I try as much as possible to have a long driving lesson. Sometimes when people don't have time, I drive even up to 6 hours with one client, because they will need to get their driving license fast. So obviously depending on every situation, but I do happen sometimes. I stop from a lesson, I charge the car for about 2 hours, and then I just continue driving, or I arrange.
And where are you charging predominantly? On the road network, at home?
Right now I'm charging at home. I applied for the EV meter, and I'm charging regularly. Obviously, depending on how much driving. But when I talk to other driving instructors, they drive non-stop, because I offer a bit of a different service. I have a very personalized service. So I have about 3 clients, and I just help them to get driving license fast.
Right.
Because
right, right.
other driving schools, they have much more. I was talking with other driving instructors. Some of them have even up to 40 clients
at one go, eh? So an interesting question, I think, and it's a question of a lot of viewers would ask: have you calculated the difference in running costs for you versus your old petrol car?
Yes, the costs are very. It's a very big difference. Like in 2022, last year, I wasted a total of €80 because I got the electricity bill. So one whole year of running the car, it cost me €80, which is what I would pay one time, or like to fill up a car, it would cost me about €70 to have a full tank.
Right.
So what I paid for a year, I would have paid like just one time, and the running cost, it's insignificant. If I charge on the road, maybe I charge it full, I'll pay something like €253.
Yeah.
Something. So it's very cheap to run, especially that the car doesn't require service. And the only difficulty with this car that I can think of is the tires, because the rims are 20-inch, and how it's designed, they're very big and very thin. The tire. So the engineers designed like this to be electrically efficient.
Yes.
But each tire is very expensive. The front ones, and the front one is small, and the back ones are bigger.
Right.
So
they're different. So you can't rotate them, I guess, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Because I guess it's recommended to rotate the tires on electric cars. Although that's the only thing I can think of, because the tires cost about €250 if I had to change it, and I did change a few tires. But apart from that, the service, there's absolutely no service.
And this was bought new?
New, exactly.
So after a year, you've changed the tires already?
Yes, because sometimes I had a flat tire.
Right, it tore the tire or something. Right.
So with regards to the service, it's once every 2 years that I take it to the dealership, and they check the car and the service and if it needs anything. But apart from that, the running costs are zero.
That's another cost saving, the maintenance. Not only the actual cost of the electricity, the maintenance is significantly less. I mean, you are a bit unfortunate with the tires, I guess. For those who don't know, not only the BMW ID3, but all electric cars have specific tires. They're designed to be more efficient. They're actually less grippy than other normal tires because the cars are heavier. So it goes a bit against what we're used to. But they're specific, and they're lower in quantity at the moment, so their price is currently a bit higher. So how do students react? Do they call you knowing you have an electric car to teach with? I'm curious.
I think I had a few requests of people who are going to buy an electric car, and they wanted specifically to learn on an electric car.
Amazing.
And the people who have never driven before, it's their first time, they find it really easy to get used to it straight away. Because I have some clients who have driven for more than 10 years, and they just need the European license. So when they come, because they have the experience, it's harder for them to adapt, because they have been driving the cars. I mean, by nature, electric car is an automatic car, so anyone can drive it.
Exactly.
But the people who have driven before, they try to find the gear stick, like the gear lever. Yeah. It's just over there,
here.
like just drive and reverse. And it takes them like 2 or 3 lessons to get used to the pedal, the regeneration braking. Exactly. I mean, the pedal is magic, because when driving in the driving exam, the examiner is going to check how well they're capable to handle the car. So if they accelerate gently and stop very smoothly, it's a very good sign to send to the driving examiner. So when stopping, it's really easy to just accelerate and stop. But when I have people who are starting out and they're new, I put the car on eco mode, and the power is reduced.
Exactly, because that's another thing. This is a lot more powerful than your typical learner car, right? I mean, the horse probably 150, 60 brake horsepower, right? I'm just guessing here.
For the size of the car, it's I think it's very it's a bit too much crazy powerful, especially for the people who are learning. I really find it useful because whenever there's a stop sign and they need to come out, I tell them yes, go ahead and
use the power.
Use the power, exactly. Even when going in roundabouts and they find an opportunity, it's okay to accelerate, and the examiners will understand that there's an opportunity because the roads, you know, that they are super busy when driving. So the power is really useful.
Exactly. But also the fact that there is that eco mode button and you can reduce the power makes it good as well for maybe really new students not to get that instant jolt when they press on the accelerator.
Exactly. And another reason why I wanted to choose an electric car, people will be more positively reinforced to buy an electric car, and the air will be a little bit cleaner because living on an island we don't have so much nature reserves, forests, you know, not so many trees and so many cars. And it's like a dream, you know. I wish that all the cars in the future will be electric. Obviously,
that's what we're hoping for.
There's a long way to go, you know, but it's quite a progress.
Slowly getting there. I agree. And what is giving me hope is that the economics are working out. They're working out for businesses, you know. It makes so much financial sense to go electric. And of course they work out for the individual as well, who does significantly less mileage than you would do in 1 year. And the fact that that's working out at the moment, I think that's really going to sway people to change fast. For me, that was the driver, the cost of everything. But I appreciate that everyone comes into it with a different mindset, you know. So that's really good to hear as well.
It's true. And when I talk to people, I mean, for me it's clear because I receive a lot of requests on manual gearbox. So people call me, do you offer service manual gearbox? And it's really easy for me to explain to them and to convince them, because I say, listen, all the cars, buses and trucks are coming in automatic. The way the industry is going is that even in the future the European Union is going to make restrictions. So eventually people will anyway get the license in manual and then drive an automatic car.
Exactly.
And as a driving instructor, I want to get the license for my wife in manual, and now she's driving automatic, and she told me it's much harder than the manual exam. It takes longer for practice.
Exactly.
And anyway, she's driving an automatic car today. I mean, unless people are maybe they like cars and they drive classic cars, or someone needs to drive a van for work, most people are just driving automatic cars now.
Exactly. So, it's funny because I 12 years ago I did my learning on a manual car as well, but the last time I drove a manual car was literally the driving exam, because after that I went automatic right away. I mean, for someone who's, as we said, not maybe a huge racing enthusiast or something like this, just looking at the comfort of getting from A to B every day.
Exactly.
It just makes so much sense and so comfortable, you know. And then electric came about, which made it even easier, because now you can drive with one pedal nearly.
Exactly, because after some people help drivers to get their license, they actually plan to buy an electric car, even though they have been driving for many years, and because it's so much easier for them to drive. I mean, on the island it really makes sense, because if there is traffic to start and stop, it's super easy to just accelerate and decelerate fast.
Nick, we are approaching the end of our little trip here. I have one final question, is if I would have passed my exam 12 years later.
And to pass the exam, it required a lot of observation, slowing down, stopping indicators. You know, it's a very big preparation.
Right.
So you would definitely not have passed the exam, unfortunately. But your driving is very safe, because I can understand you're observing and you're looking. Because in the exam, it's required to do a lot of the different observation procedure, and even the maneuvers, the parking, and sometimes it's required to do an emergency brake or a reverse maneuver. But kind of everything because I made a list of steps. So when I teach people, I tell them, listen, just
This is the checklist.
exactly,
Exactly.
so it's easier.
All right. Well, I'll have to come back then to pass my test. Nick, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
If you want to get in touch with Nick, what's the best way to get in touch with you if someone wants to learn on this electric car, how to drive here in Malta?
So someone can either write me on WhatsApp or call or visit the website. It's e-drive.mt.
Okay, so e-drive.mt. So as always, I'm Luke, and I hope we've convinced you with this learner car that the future is electric.